The following audio may contain the personal testimonials of Take Shape for Life health coaches or clients. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified, and your individual path to healthy living and weight loss will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a physician before starting a weight loss program. Yours in health, the Take Shape for Life team.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Habits of Health webinar. It is my privilege and my honor to introduce to you Lisa Castro.
Hi, everyone. I'm really thrilled to be here tonight, especially because of this topic. This one is a powerful topic. I'm going to be kind of playing in the deep end of the pool today and hope you guys want to join me. You're welcome to stay over in the shallow end, but kind of dip your toe in my direction if you'd like, and play this, the recording more than once if you want to kind of digest it, because we've been studying this as leaders in Take Shape for Life and just really talking about living above the line. And I didn't quite understand what that means. I didn't understand what it meant at the time. But as I've grown to learn more about it, it has been what's really moving my thought processes forward. And those that know, I love learning about the healthy mind and about the brain and becoming a student of it. And this is something that I think will really resonate with a lot of you because you've been in the process of growing along with us. And I just think it's time to take it up a notch a little bit and really challenge some of your thoughts, just as mine have been challenged. So how about empowering our relationships? If we could get to a place where we are empowering to build relationships instead of sometimes we enable and we hurt relationships. Any of you been in that situation? I know I personally have been. And have you ever thought about wanting to be a better coach if you're a health coach on the line, or a mentor, a leader, a family member, and or a friend, maybe even a friend to yourself? I cannot tell you how many conversations I've had with clients, even coaches, who put themselves last, or they're beating themselves up, or they feel unworthy, or they don't feel like they deserve. Whatever it is, if we're finding ourselves blaming, criticizing, and judging ourselves or others, it keeps us from having those empowering relationships, either ourselves or even over food for that matter. So what would you like to do? If you could have that quality, impactful conversation with others, would that be helpful? Would you find yourself having better relationships if you had better communication? Do you want to refine and bolster your relationship skills? Most of us do. Hopefully you're in that camp, and that's why you're on tonight. So are we victim or are we victorious in our lives? Are we being the victor? So would you like to not live as a victim? Taking control of your life, taking control of food, and what else could you take control of? If you could be empowered to do the things that you want in your life, would you go for it? Or are you saying, I can't because? And if you find yourself saying, but, you just don't know, Lisa, through this presentation, let's talk a little bit further, okay? This is a conversation with myself. There was an impromptu thing at a regional training in Portland, Oregon, it would have been 2014. And Dr. A was challenging us to have a conversation of where we were before and where we were afterward. And I took him literally. I was really transparent, almost to the point of being embarrassing. But I know that at that time really moved a lot of people forward. So somebody shared the video with me that had taken it at the event, and I thought I'd share a segment of it with you so that you can kind of get a little different. Notice when you're watching this video, I'm thinking back to where I was when I started Take Shape for Life almost 14 years ago. And where I was, this is in 2 minutes, just kind of summing it all up, and see if you can see if I was in a place of victim or victor as you watch this video, okay? I'm going to have a conversation with myself.
Good, I like that.
I'm afraid of my cry though.
That's okay.
Okay, I'm my former self. This is over 9 years ago. You need to get up. I can't get out of bed, I'm too tired. You have a lot of responsibility, you got to get up. It's been an hour, you've been laying in bed, but it hurts. We're in debt. My husband's stressed out. It's my birthday, my 43rd birthday, and I feel like I'm 60 years old. My kids are teenagers. I'm not the mom to them that I need to be. I run a business, but it takes me twice as long to do it because I can't think straight. My concentration's off. This autoimmune disease, this lupus, this Sjogren's, it's just eating away at me. My confidence is so low, I don't want to be around people anymore. The only safe place is in my home, and that doesn't even feel safe all the time because it's painful to hide my feelings. Nobody cares. They're not showing affection towards me, and I don't blame them. I'm not much to love right now. Future self. Just wait. You have a life ahead of you that is going to be amazing. It's going to take some trials and tribulations, some, discovering yourself, figuring out what you want in your life. But it's so great that David and Terry introduced this program to you because they care about you. You were number 2 on their list of people to talk to. People want to be like you. And that makes you want to keep being better and better every year. And you keep making that commitment every year to be a better person, to grow a better business, to help other people be better and discover their why, of why they want to do this, why they want what they want in their life, and then helping them discover it for themselves and coming alongside them to help them do it. There can't be much more fulfillment than that. Although when you get to enjoy it in Florida, living on the bay with an infinity pool, go kayaking with the dolphins, not bad life. What are your thoughts around that? And the first one, where I was talking from where I was I taking responsibility for my life? Was I playing above the line? Was I taking ownership of where my life was at? Was I being accountable to where my life was at? Was I taking responsibility? That would be considered above the line. Below the line, was I more blaming, making excuses, or was I in denial? Now, most of you would, and I would agree, that I had justification. I had reasons for not being in a good place. So think about yourself. What is it in your life that you're finding yourself blaming others for where you're at? And where have you taken responsibility for your part in it? Where can we, even if we don't have control over certain things, we have control over our reaction to them. So are we going to take ownership for our reaction? Are we going to be accountable for our reaction? And will we take responsibility for our decision that we do to move forward with that, however we're going to move forward? Now, I look back and I felt sorry for myself because I had autoimmune disease. But I also look back, there are a lot of things I could have done differently that could have resulted in a different outcome. I didn't take care of myself. I was under a lot of stress, not eating well, eating a lot of chocolate, not managing stress, not taking care of my finances, letting my relationships go because I was so busy working, taking care of others, that pretty soon I couldn't take care of myself because I wasn't taking care of myself. Couldn't take care of others because of it. Think of the oxygen on your mask, or what the flight attendant says about putting the oxygen on your own self first so that you can turn around and help others. But if you don't take care of yourself, you're not going to be able to do that in time. Now, obviously, you could get an autoimmune disease, whether you do everything in your power to avoid it or not, but your chances improve when you take ownership of your own health. So look at this, and this is not meant to say you're not doing it good enough, because if you're thinking that might be where you think I'm blaming you or you're blaming yourself. That would be below the line. And what we're going to talk about, instead of me saying you're below the line, we're going to talk about how can you recognize it and then rise above it. We're going to call it's called shifting. So you ready for this? All right, some of you guys are already chatting, let me know where you think that you are. How often are you above the line? How often are you below the line? And it's more about catching yourself when you're below the line to rise above. I'm going to give you a different illustration of it. So this might make a little bit more sense to some of you that are visual like myself. Vision, goals, primary choice. You see that at the top? How many of your coaches have asked you, what is it you want? Why do you want it? And let's talk about how you can get there. And how many of you are not getting there because you're holding on to the rock? We'll say that surface of water is now the line. Below the line are things that Dr. A talks about. This is from his book, Habits of Health. Talks about concepts and limiting beliefs, the problems that we have, why I can't do this. Maybe you can, but I can't. What if we let go of that concept? What if we let go of that thing that's holding us down? Okay, so I had autoimmune disease. What was I going to do to rise above it? You know what I did? I went below. I blamed, I criticized, I judged, and I felt sorry for myself, and I wallowed in it. I didn't take care of myself. I didn't sleep. I didn't eat right. I started eating more junk, getting less sleep, gaining weight, and treating my family not so well because I was moody all the time from all my sugar, hypoglycemic, going up and down. And for some reason, they didn't want to spend a lot of time with me. But in that video, you saw me feeling sorry for myself. I caused a lot of it. That was hard to face. That was hard to face. And over the last almost 14 years, there's been a lot of other things that have been hard to face. But once I do, and I treat them as that obstacle we can break through and be better on the other side, life is good on that side. Life is good on the other side of an obstacle if we don't deny it, if we face it, if we don't blame ourselves or others. We can get through it a lot faster and now be curious about why. I'll take it a little further. Hopefully that illustration is great for you guys. Yes, great for coaches and health coaches, and clients, friends, even yourself. You cannot believe how many people I mentor with that are blaming themselves for where they're at in their lives. Instead of just saying, but how could I make it different? We're going to talk about that. We're getting a lot of this information, obviously, from Dr. A's Habits of Health book, Stop, Challenge, Choose, his book, Identity. And this one is the main one that I'm focusing on today, called the 15 Commitments of Conscious Leadership. Some of you might think this doesn't apply to you because you're not a leader. If you're leading your own life, you're a leader. If you're leading another person, you're a leader. Taking charge of something, empowering yourself to take full responsibility while helping support others and taking responsibility for their choices, that's what this is about. So I'm going to just give you a quick overview, and then I'm going to take it off the slides, and I'm going to just have a conversation with you guys. So rather than, this is what the concept is behind the commitments. Rather than permitting my unconscious habits, my thoughts, to take all my power, hold me back, or keep me where I am, I'm making this decision to adopt these new habits regardless of how difficult this may be for a period of time until they are habits of transformational leadership. My conscious leadership is constant and certain. In other words, I've made a consistent daily practice of it. We have some leaders on our team and leaders throughout Take Shape for Life that are actually making a commitment, meeting once a week and talking about the things that they're learning as they apply the commitments and how it's changing their life and their view on life and the response from people in their life. It's amazing how people treat you different if you're being nice to them too. When I wasn't so moody, for some reason my husband seemed to be more attracted to me, and he related to me a little differently. That's kind of funny, don't you think? Instead of blaming him for what wasn't going well in my life, I started taking responsibility, and the return response was I was more enjoyable to be around, so he wanted to be around me more. I was more fun. I had more joy in my heart. I constantly am seeking for what will bring me well-being so that I in turn can do that for others. So I'm going to go ahead and take myself off of screen sharing so you guys can see my face. Because this is a challenging topic. If I kind of hit a nerve with some of you, maybe you don't even like me anymore. But I'm doing this because I know that if you could get through this part and truly live a life that is what is called in this book presence, not in a drama, not in the drama of your life. How many, do you know what they did? And they would. If you find yourself in that tone, no matter what the words are, you're finding yourself in that drama. If you're being present or in presence, being like I am with you right now, even though I can't see you, this is harder because I can't see you, but I'm envisioning people I've talked to, envisioning the possibility that you're really looking into this camera right now and truly paying attention to what I'm saying. Totally present. Not this is going on, that's going on, but you don't know and all this stuff. Being present. Now, if I were doing the drama triangle, this would be a different conversation. So I want you guys to really think about that line, that surface. Are you below the surface drowning, or are you above, breathing in air and taking it in? Taking in life. It's having that sense of well-being and on your way to create that life you desire that's in that distance that he shows with the vision, the goal of what you truly want in your life. So it's known as a drama triangle. Imagine a triangle, and at one part of the triangle, it's talking about, it got to be right. That's the hero. Now, heroes usually thought of Superman, but at the same time, Superman comes to save the day and he whisks somebody out of that danger. But do we try to do that and feel heroic when we're just helping somebody temporarily fix a problem versus empowering them so that they can solve their own problems? So do we want to be right? Here, let me fix that for you. Oh, you just need to do it this way. Are we being the hero? Or maybe we're being the villain. This is the other side of the triangle, where we feel like we're blaming everyone. So we have to blame someone, that we become the villain, and we're like, you did this, you did that, even to yourself. Let me describe that, all of those. I'm going to go in a little bit more detail on that. And then the victim is coming from a place of fear. So are you trying to be right, being the hero, blame, being a villain, or having fear, being the victim? Let me give you an example of being the hero. Let me fix that for you. Here, any of you guys as health coaches say, let me bring you that box of food 20 miles away so you don't run out of food. When somebody, if we had empowered somebody to make a choice to get order their food so they wouldn't run out. Or what if it's you that's blaming your health coach because they didn't bring you that box of food so you ran out? Would it be your responsibility to make sure that you didn't? Look at it that way. So if your health coach is coming to the rescue, or your health coach rescuing people all the time, have you given them a chance to be empowered? Are you telling them about this call and teaching them everything you learned on it? Or are you saying, gosh, let's get you connected to that call and watch the recording or the live event so that you can learn it for yourself? We want to empower instead of being that right and being the person that comes to rescue, right? The second one is that, again, coming from a place of blame, being the villain. I shouldn't have. Oh, I messed up. Oh, I should. And you should all over yourself, as Dan Bell says. I said should, okay? And then how about to others? It's your fault. You didn't give it your best effort, or the group. He messed up for all of us. They just don't get it. Blame, blame, blame. What if you're the victim? Powerless. Oh, or coming from a place of fear. What if? I don't know if and you come from just this meek, and if you think about it, even your posture changes when you feel victim. I remember telling my kids when they were going into junior high, most kids are very insecure at this age, and they're going to be looking for somebody weaker than them to pick on so that they feel better about themselves. So walk into the room with your posture up, head up, making eye contact with people, and it'll be a whole different experience if you walk in looking down like this. You know how I know? Because I was the kid that held my head down, had very little self-concept, and I got picked on a lot. I was teased. I bet none of you were teased, and if you were, how are you doing today? Are you letting it still affect you, or are you getting past it? I still think of some episodes I can see in my mind as clear as can be, but I'm not going to let that define me today. It did for a while. So no matter whether you're in the role of hero, villain, or victim, it's still a role of below the line, a role of being victim. Drama. Now, what if it could be just the opposite? And you're empowered to be the creator of your future. You decide what you want it to look like, how you're going to react to things, that you're going to find yourself not fixing other people, and you're going to say, how could I grow? How can I be better? How can I make this life all it can be for myself and for the sake of others? No fixing, no blaming, no complaining. You become the coach in your life or other people's lives. You become the challenger to help somebody break through something. You become the creator, taking responsibility for what your choices are. That place brings about a creativeness that you can't even imagine unless you've been there. You're in alignment. How many of you feel out of integrity or out of alignment? Because even some of your coaches not following the plan well, and you're feeling out of integrity. When you get into integrity and you're taking responsibility, you feel so good, and it's so attractive. People want to be like you. If you're a client and you're in a household where you have an impact on people that are unhealthy, you making healthier choices have an impact on them. Even if they're trying to sabotage you, it might be because they're afraid you might want them to change. Do it by example, not by ordering or, trying to fix them, but empower them. You'll feel more engaged in life. You'll feel more energized. Above the line is a cool place to hang out, but we're not always there. So that's why we keep going a little bit further on this. Above the line, empowering. You'll be creative, aligned, energized, engaged in life. Drama, you find yourself detached. Maybe you want to hide, become a hermit, or lash out at everybody. Be angry at the world, or give up. Which one's it going to be? I'm going to list some things that are listed in this book, The 15 Commitments. He talks about it drifting. Think of that line again. We might rise above, let go of the rock a little bit, or push against something so we can get out there a little bit. But drifting would be to go down below the line, blaming or being sarcastic, spacing out. Some of these things you wouldn't think be drifting below the line, like explaining myself. I remember asking my husband on our 10-year anniversary, if you could change anything about me, what would it be? And I'm thinking, I thought he was going to name all kinds of things. And I thought that was pretty risky for me to even ask. And he said, this, you're always explaining yourself. I never thought of that being below the line, but I felt like I was defending myself. That's why I would explain, I can't go to that event. And I go into all the details why I couldn't, and says, you know what, gosh, sorry, I'm not able to make it. He liked it better when I did that. And if you think about it, that is being above the line. How about procrastinating? I was horrible about procrastinating. I can still do it. It's probably my worst characteristic. Well, I don't know if it's the worst, but I'll tell you it's the one that's held me back from really, really going all out in life, is putting off things that seem hard or that I'm afraid of. They're less and less every single year because I strive towards overcoming that. What about eating? Do you go eat when you're not even hungry? Below the line. Do you find yourself Facebooking mindlessly? Some of the health coaches, I know you guys Facebook, but is it intentional? Is it on purpose? Is it to build someone else up, to add value to their life? Or is it to escape? Is it to not take responsibility? Is it to blame somebody because it's not going as well as you want, or you can't cope with your life, so you're finding a way out? Are you worrying? I've been known to do that at night before I fall asleep. I found ways around that. I'm doing really well in that department now. Concealing. How many of you aren't being truthful about some of the things, even to your own coach? Honesty will help move you both forward so that you can have a trusting relationship. So you can see how all this ties in to having those better relationships, better communication. There's a whole lot of them. If you get the book, you can see a whole listing of things. Those are just ones I highlighted that I find myself getting off track with, especially even finding myself, checking my email or my text messages frequently. It's a distraction. I want to be more on purpose and block times for that. So drifting below the line. Ways to shift. This is incredibly important. Conscious breathing. We've talked about this on previous calls, where if you put your hand on your belly button and you try not to breathe from your chest, but from your abdomen. And if your belly button's going straight out, taking a nice deep breath, just kind of relaxing the shoulders. And there's kind of a pause between the inhale and the exhale. That can really make a change in just how you're shifting from below the line to above the line, because it's like, okay, regroup. Radically changing your posture. Even when I'm talking to you, if I was going and then conscious breathing, you might want to do that. Versus, okay, conscious breathing, literally just my change of posture, even the words come out differently, I'm received differently. So radically changing your posture. If you're angry and you start doing this and you sit up, it's going to change that even the body position will change how you're feeling at that time. Come from a place of wonder. Wonder. I never really thought about this word before until this book. Ask yourself, I wonder what I could learn from this. I wonder why they're acting like that. I wonder what could be a better outcome. I wonder what I'd like to see happen. It's a cool place to be, in that state of wonder. Curious. Being curious. I'm known as the question lady. And it's because I am very curious. How about forward thinking? Instead of saying, I can't, ask yourself, how can I? That easy to shift. One little phrase can shift your below the line to above the line. Stop, challenge, choose. You're reacting to something. A couple of deep breaths. Challenge yourself. What's going on? What's going on? What do you want the desired outcome to be? Choose the action that's going to move you forward to what you want. Go from reactive to creative thought when you do that. And then ask yourself these 4 questions. And I wish I had more time, because there are some cool things that I really want to share with you that start with these 4 questions. What actually happened? What did I want to have happen? What in that moment was missing? What would be next? In other words, my husband bought me some chocolate after I told him that I didn't want to have any chocolate, and no matter what I said or did, please don't get me any chocolate. The next day, stressed out, and I'm already thinking how I can make my excuses for why I need chocolate. He comes in the room and he says, I said, Jamie, I just got to have some chocolate, please. And this is before Take Shape for Life. Please, I'm having such a tough day and I can't get away. Will you please get me some chocolate? He goes and gets me some chocolate. He brings it back and he gives it to me. And my reaction in my mind, I said thank you, and at the same time thinking, oh, why did he get it for me? I didn't really want it. And so I started thinking, it's because he doesn't love me. He wants me to be fat. He wants me to be unhappy. And I asked myself these questions. What actually happened? I asked for some chocolate. He got me some chocolate. The story around it was my thoughts. It wasn't the reality, it was perception. What were my thoughts? So what actually happened? What did I want to have happen? What in that moment was missing? One was communication. One was I didn't have a backup plan for handling stress. But I wanted it to be different. So if I said what actually happened was he got me chocolate, I ate it. What did I want to have happen? He could have got me the chocolate and I'd not eat it. Or I didn't even ask in the first place. So what in that moment was missing was a way to cope with stress. Thank you, Take Shape for Life, for helping me figure out a way to cope with stress. Thank you, Dr. A. Thank you for all the personal development and all the great team leaders and everything else. It's been fantastic. So what would be next? I'm going to create a plan. I'm going to write down a list of things I can do when I'm in a good state of mind, so that when I get stressed out, I can read it to remind myself of different things that I could do. So usually it's communication or it's relationship that's missing. So you say, how can I work on that? Well, becoming self-aware will make a huge difference. Those questions will help you with self-awareness. Here's 4 other questions that could help you. Now, you might want to write this down too, because these are powerful questions that I have 2 minutes to go over. Is it true? That story I was telling myself. Is it true? Yeah. If he cared about me, he would have listened to when I said, don't get me any. Is it absolutely? Do I know it's true? Would I have still given in to chocolate if I hadn't asked him? Is it absolutely true? How do you react? What happens when you believe that thought? When I believed the thought that my husband didn't love me, didn't care about me, probably wanted me to stay fat, what happens when I believe that thought? It hurt my relationship. It kept me in a negative state. It kept me overweight, messed with my blood sugars, made me moody, and made him want to be around me. Who would I be without that thought? What if I thought, gosh, he loves me so much, even got me went to the store 10 miles away to get me some chocolate because he saw my need and how I was going through a tough time, and that's how he knew to cope with it. He loves me. So a lot of times, the truth really is the opposite of what we're thinking. Challenge yourself. When you say, he doesn't love me, what if it could be just the opposite, or that you're not being loving to that person? I put him in a predicament where he had to choose between listening to my words the day before or that current day. And he loved me so much, he thought that that was what I said I wanted, so he helped me out with it. Challenge yourself. What are your thoughts? I'm going to give you something that's in the shallower end of the pool, because that's been pretty deep. And I actually skipped a topic that I'm going to bring up another time, talking about recognizing emotions, actually acknowledging the true emotion, and how to quickly get through the emotion to move forward in your life. That'll be for a later call. But if you want to be in the shallower end and just kind of get a touch of this, not getting into the deep end with the 15 Commitments of Conscious Leadership. Identity is a challenging book as well, but it'll challenge you in a good way. But there's a book called People Can't Drive You Crazy If You Don't Give Them the Keys. I love that. People can't drive you crazy if you don't give them the keys. Why would you give control over to someone else and then blame them for it? I'm going to leave you with those thoughts.
The preceding audio may have contained the personal testimonials of some Take Shape for Life health coaches or clients. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified, and your individual path to healthy living and weight loss will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a physician before starting a weight loss program. Yours in health, the Take Shape for Life team.